Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak-to-Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Winter is finally here. Well, at least at Eldora Ski Resort, it is. Last Friday, November 14th, first chair junkies woke up in their cars in the Eldora parking lot, hoping to nab that first lift of the resort's 63rd ski season. It's still early in the season. Only Hornblower and International trails were open, along with Woodward Timbers Terrain Park. But, of course, the DJ was blasting music for the early season riders. Welcome back to the Mountaineer Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Hickman. We have a pretty packed episode today with my first what you could call feature story. Really excited about it. But I will need some help from you, the listeners, at the end of it. So make sure you stick around. Before we dive in, here are this week's news bites. Black Hawk Town Council mourned the loss of Alderman Gregory D. Moats last week, who died on October 31st during his term. Council read a resolution honoring the alderman who spent 17 years serving his community, calling him a steady voice who supported residents, employees, and projects that shaped the modern Black Hawk, while also noting his apparently wicked sense of humor. Black Hawk now needs to replace the vacant seat, and the city plans to set a timeline for accepting applications and public interviews soon. Also, 2 NED area organizations pulled in more than $90,000 collectively from Boulder County in a recent round of grant funding aimed at climate action projects. The Nederland Food Pantry landed almost $50,000 to build a community-led garden, strengthening local food access, with plans to build water-efficient garden beds, cold frames, and yes, potentially even a greenhouse. Up Cold Creek Canyon, the Wonderview neighborhood, which according to a community wildfire protection plan has the highest risk of wildfire in the entire canyon, is set to receive close to $44,000 for wildfire mitigation work. Wonderview plans to use the money to make improvements across the board, from evacuation planning to local leadership and emergency communications. And finally, did you happen to catch that free light show? Last Tuesday, the Northern Lights lit up the Colorado night sky thanks to an unusually strong solar storm. If you're like me and didn't get the memo, that FOMO hit me pretty hard when I woke up the next day to a social media feed filled with epic light shows that I did not see. You can pick up a copy of this week's paper or head to our website to see our reader-submitted photos of the auroras. They're pretty sweet. That's going to do it for today's News Bites. Of course, you can read all these stories and a whole lot more on our website or in this week's print edition. Now, for our featured story. When you step out your front door, or when you're out in your community, what do you hear? Birds chirping? Gravel crunching under the tires of cars on a dirt road? Maybe the whine of a musician's harmonica who plays every week at your local cafe. In every community, there are certain things that sound like home. For me, it's the dinging of the railroad crossing, moments before the RTD commuter rail barrels through Old Town Arvada, just up the road from my apartment. It's reliable. Every half hour, the train stops traffic while suburbanites get on and off, on their way to wherever they need to go.
Welcome aboard RTD Commuter Rail. This is the G line to Union Station.
Just like the news we cover at the Mountaineer, our staff spans the entire peak-to-peak, from Idaho Springs to Allenspark. Each town comes with its own soundtrack of noises. Sounds that can be constant, or some sounds from a single point in time. Sometimes, these defining sounds can change over time.
sound that reminds me of Nederland right now is the sound of a machine. The machine is tearing down or digging dirt or helping something move forward. Since the fire, it's a normal sound that we hear all around town.
That's Barbara Hart, managing editor of The Mountaineer and co-owner of Brightwood Music, one of the businesses lost in the Lakeview fire, which destroyed more than 20 storefronts in early October.
We have all watched, since the fire, the machines that have slowly been demolishing the building that burned. It's a reminder of moving forward. It is actually a reminder of hope, that there is something going on that's bigger than all of us, but that will move this community into a more positive space.
Down the back roads of the remote, unincorporated Gilpin County, other sounds are more constant, like the chatter of wildlife that's likely filled the air for thousands of years. For the untrained ear, that's the sound of a moose chuffing, as Mindy Leary calls it. It's a backyard noise for our Gilpin County reporter.
It's kind of like a smirky sound that sounds a bit guttural, and it has a strange kind of, lilt to it. And it sounds like the moose had moose business to attend to down the street with perhaps some other moose in the neighborhood. It just embodies the wild nature of Gilpin County and it being unincorporated. It's not really a city or a town, but just a collection of houses on the side of a highway that are kind of tucked back onto a mountainside.
Some towns can share a sound or an idea of a sound.
On the pillow, laid a sleepy head. Who dreamed of radical rest.
But still carry their own rhythm that you won't hear anywhere else.
I know you guys seen lots of different shows. You have seen lots of jugglers, you've seen lots of magicians, but you haven't seen much of this one, do you? Do you?
Editor Shay Castle, a Boulder local, and Mountaineer's senior reporter Chris Kelly, who lives in Ned, both say their local street performers evoke that sense of home.
When I think of Boulder, I kind of think of the buskers on Pearl Street, because that's not something you have in a lot of towns. And, we've had some of the same ones for years.
Are you enjoying the show? I wasn't kidding when I said this is what I do for a living. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm an entertainer.
So they become like familiar characters to people who've lived in town for a long time. The tap dancing kid was popular for a while. He plays a trumpet. And I think that's just a sound that's pretty unique to certainly tourist towns or towns with a lot of visitors.
For Nederland, for me, there's a very specific sound, and it's a little bit tied to my job as the community journalist. Well, it's deeper than that, and it's the sound of music, not the musical, the sound of music, but like literally music everywhere you go. Whether it's a busker.
Staring about, what will we learn from the water?
It's a familiar sound because of that, but it's also unique, and that's kind of Nederland, right? In a way, is like, unique, but in a familiar way.
But what sounds like home to you? In a joint effort with Boulder Valley Frequency, a community news podcast covering all of Boulder County, from longtime Boulder journalist Shay Castle, the Mountaineer podcast is launching a new segment we're calling Sounds of the Town. Over the next few months, we'll be accepting submissions from you, our listeners, and feature a sound from a peak-to-peak town as often as we can. Tell us what the sound is, where you hear it, and what it means to you. We'll gather the best ideas from each town, then head out ourselves and record it. Once we have a sound from each town or county, we'll put them all together into a story for our readers in the Mountaineer weekly print paper. Of course, no idea is wrong. We've already gotten ideas from our staffers that never even crossed my mind. Who knew the sound of a bulldozer could say so much. So the next time you're out running errands, or sitting on your porch, or just meeting up with some friends for coffee, stop for a second and listen for these sounds, and listen to what they're trying to tell you. We can't wait to hear your town through your ears. You can send your submissions to me, Tyler, Tyler, at themountaineer.com. That's all for today. Thanks to all the Mountaineer folks who sent us their sounds and offered to be on the other side of the interview for once. And a huge thanks to Shay Castle for lending this awesome idea for a story to us. Thanks to Rachel Gula, who goes by Rach, by the way, the musician you heard earlier playing her original song, What Will We Learn, outside of Nature's Own Rock Shop on East First Street in Ned. The Pearl Street performer you heard earlier was Ibashi Ai, also known as the Man in the Box, who sadly passed away just a few weeks ago at 68 years old. The audio comes from a 2018 video originally run by the Boulder Daily Camera. We'll post the link in the show's description if you want to watch it. This is the Mountaineer Podcast. I'm Tyler Hickman. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
If baby stayed in the night, what will we learn from the water?
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.